So no, the Lakers in full health, but for Ja Morant, this report from Tim McMahon, he says his status for Game 2 is in jeopardy. He was downtrodden, not even able to use his right hand to undo a balled-up pair of socks. Feel like it's one thing after another. I want to hear from both of you on this, but Isaiah, I know you are very familiar with wrist injuries. So take us through when you hear that from Tim McMahon about not being able to undo a pair of socks.
Yeah, I broke my wrist in '91, and it was a scaphoid surgery that I had to have, and they fused my wrist, and I can only bend my wrist like this far in my right wrist, and one of the tests that they give you is, can you squeeze a ball, can you pick up a glass, and can you take your socks off? And if you're having trouble doing that, chances are, you're talking about a wrist injury. At least that's what I had. And it was a scaphoid where they really had to fuse the bones in my wrist. And let's hope that he's not dealing with something like that.
See, but when you hear that and you think of the Memphis Grizzlies, and again, he'll be reevaluated in 2 days. X-rays have come back negative. There's some positive signs, but also the timing of it. Let's say it is a sprain. That's still a 3-week injury.
Yeah, hopefully Ja, he'll be back. Hopefully it's not that serious. But, that injury to your wrist is very seriously. I mean, like Coach said, you do everything. And he's right-handed. Mm-hmm. So if he can't take his socks off or, can do the other stuff like pick up something, that's bad. But hopefully we'll see. They'll get some X-rays and they're going to probably do some MRIs. The doctors are good in Memphis. So hopefully he can bounce through it and get back because the guys, they sure going to need him.
Yeah, best wishes to Ja Morant. We're still waiting to hear from some Memphis Grizzlies players, including a 1-0 lead in the series. Wednesday, Game 2 is on TNT at 7:30. Again, Ja Morant, that wrist injury will be reevaluated in 2 days. Game 3 on ESPN, Game 4 also on TNT. So moving forward, it feels as if this Ja Morant injury is going to be the biggest storyline of this series. So let's look at it this way. He's not going to be 100%, right? Or if he's not playing, what do the Grizzlies need to do to adjust? Because we've seen this play out before.
I think the Grizzlies going to adjust. Coach Jenkins, he's going to make adjustments. In playoffs, it's about making adjustments. And you got Tyus, you got Bane, and you got guys, you got Dillon. They're going to have to step up. Guys are going to have to step up, and they're going to have to figure out because, it's the league we play in. Some guys go out, some guys get hurt, and you just got to step up and keep playing.
Biggest adjustment you think the Grizzlies can or need to make? They were in this one, had that 8-point lead at the half.
They have to rely on what they were built on, and that's defense, right? They gave up 128 points to this Laker team. And if they're going to win games, they're going to have to rely on their defense. They're going to have to get sound and solid on defense, and they got to do a better job of controlling the tempo. If they play solid defense like they're known for doing, they can get in transition, they can get some easy baskets, and they can get right back in this series.
That's Zebo, that's Zeke. I'm Chris Miles, stepped it before this one. Chris Miles here with Zeke and Zebo. And Zeke, I'm going to start it with this. That is the most points by a Lakers quartet, all score 20 or more, since Magic, Kareem, Byron Scott, and Worthy. Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis.
Did they score that on us?
Hey, by the way, happy birthday to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
That's a fantastic stat, and it just shows you again how everyone is playing together and how everyone's sharing the basketball, not only sharing the basketball but contributing. So that's a great stat for the Lakers.
Yeah, like you said, Coach. They played great. Like you said, the bench came in, played great. Austin and Rui. And you got to take your hats off to them. You know what I mean? It's going to be a tough series. I think, next game going to be a little different. I don't know what's up with Ja Ham, but hopefully that's better and we can be ready for next game.
Yeah, and looking at what Rui Hachimura just put that in its own box, right? The 29 points off the bench. Most by a Lakers bench player in a playoff game since Byron Scott in 1997. He had 12 in the third quarter. Remember, the Lakers were down at the half by 8. And he was the one making the big shots, making the big plays, outscored Memphis's bench by himself. He had 29, Memphis Grizzlies bench, 24 points.
I mean, he shot the ball well. Not only did he shoot the ball well, but as you said, he scored effectively, and those baskets were needed at that time when he was scoring. You know, it wasn't like they were up 10 and he was scoring baskets. You know, they were down 4, they were down 6, and he was making shots to keep them in the game and also give them a big lead. So, you know, congratulations to him for stepping up in this big moment, but also to the Lakers coaching staff for understanding what they have in him, bringing him along, and allowing him to be able to participate and playoff and play in this playoff moment.
Nazebo, we've talked about this for 2 years now, right? The Memphis Grizzlies during the regular season without Ja Morant, they still are a top-tier team that sit there first, second, or third out west when he's not playing. But in the playoffs, that's not the case. This was a close game, 6 minutes to go. Ja Morant goes down with an injury that we're going to get an update on, does not return. This game turns into a 16-point loss for the Memphis Grizzlies.
Well, we definitely need Ja on the court. The Grizzlies definitely need them. You know, that he's the main, he's the main engine. He's running the show. So hopefully he be healthy and that injury's not that bad. And he can be out there next game. But we need Ja. We need Ja to play big. We need the Grizzlies bench to come in and play big and help out the scoring.
Zeke, we know how electric Ja Morant is. He's box office. He's one of the reasons you watch an NBA game. But at the same token, you know, you look at the Memphis Grizzlies the past couple of years and, his injury, that's the end of their postseason against the Warriors where it looked like they could possibly win that series. You go here, still waiting for an update on him. You think, well, they can't win without this guy. So when you look at plays like this as a point guard that you play in postseason play, how do you adjust so you avoid injuries like this?
Well, you definitely have to adjust, and you have to learn, from your bad experiences. And, unfortunately, those bad experiences, are you getting injured. And when you get injured, that takes your team out of it. So, he plays with, reckless abandon, and we love to see him play that way. But at the same time, he's got to understand, as Zach said, you need him to win. If you're talking about winning the championship, you need him to win. So not only does he have to protect himself, but he's got to be a little bit more cautious when he's going to the basket. And he's got to pull up and start taking a couple of floaters as opposed to trying to finish at the rim all the time.
Now, one of the things we've talked about with this Grizzlies team the past couple of years, right? You say, okay, they're good, but who's their second or third offensive option? Jaren Jackson Jr. has been answering that call, right? 31 points, second time in the postseason he's had 30 or more, but it was the way he scored. It wasn't as if it was just alley-oops. It was taking LeBron one-on-one, hitting a three. What do you think of his development as an offensive player, because we know what he is on a defensive end?
I think Jaren's improvement on both ends. Like he can stretch the three, he can pick and pop. So, and tonight he was in the paint a lot, and that's what we need. They need Jaren in the paint. They need him taking, advantage of the mismatches. If you got, a smaller guy on you, go to the paint and make it easy. And that's important for the coach to run plays, turn forward, to get him going on the block and get that feel for him. So he's going to be a big part of this series, and how he goes, how they go.
Zeke, you made an observation about trying to score on Jaren Jackson Jr., why he averaged 3 blocks a game, most in the NBA in a single season since 2015, 2016. You were saying about which hand he uses to block shots.
Yeah, most shot blockers, dominant shot blockers, traditionally in the NBA and in college, they're left-handed shot blockers. And the reason why is because you're playing against a right-handed shooter. And when you're playing against a right-handed shooter, it's a left-hand challenge. Most of the time, when people are guarding and they're playing against a right-handed shooter, they actually challenge with their right hand. And so if you're going up to shoot and the challenge is with their right hand, they're actually on this side, and the guys who can really shoot are like, hey, nice challenge. Boom. But when you're playing against a guy like Zach, who's left-handed, Jaren Jackson, those guys challenge with their left hands. Thus, he had block shots, rebounds, and everything else. So, Zach, when you played against right-handed players, how easier it was for you to defend those guys, block shots, but more importantly, rebound, because let's face it, you didn't have a 50-inch vertical, right, but you was always able to grab 10, 11, 12 rebounds.
And like you say, just using my position to get the rebounds. And like you say, he's blocked shots with his left hand, and I'm left-handed, so it's right there, and you don't always see that. And that's big, like you said, for Jaren, and can be on that defensive end, can be that monster on the defensive end, because the Grizzlies going to need it. They're going to need all they can have, to to finish out the series and try to get this win.
Yep.
Well, the Los Angeles Lakers have approached the podium. We're going to start with their